Hey everyone, it's Mary Mays. I'm right here in Nashville, Tennessee as usual, and I'm here to give you your forecast. If you were hoping for quiet, nice weather, sorry, I am the bearer of, well, some weather news. We're going to talk about some heavy snowfall for some folks, a wintry mess for others, and possibly severe weather for some, including maybe me. We'll talk a little bit more in just a few minutes. If you haven't hit subscribe, go ahead and do so, and let's get right into it. So here's a look at that high resolution HRRR model, and we're starting out actually in the Pacific Northwest. Rain is breaking out right now, and there's snow in the mountains, and I just wanted to give you guys a look at how heavy this snow is getting. Look at that dark blue, incredible. So the reason I wanted to show you this is through tomorrow at noon, and it continues throughout the day on Monday. It's just going to be a heck of a lot of snow in the Cascades. Some folks seeing up to 2 feet. It's pretty incredible, right? Let's head a little further to the east and to the south. This is Monday at noon, and we're still looking at the HRRR, that high resolution model. But notice, it's looking relatively quiet. Things are going to start to get active as we head into Monday night. Notice those storms breaking out there in Texas and Oklahoma, pushing into Arkansas, into Missouri, even into portions of Illinois and Tennessee. And that's going to bring the threat for some severe weather. Okay, guys, I've zoomed this in and we're getting a closer look at what's happening Monday night. This is 8 o'clock Central Time, and you can see those thunderstorms are breaking out into Texas, into Oklahoma. You're going to see what looks like some supercells forming. That is going to be a very real possibility as we head into the evening hours, into the overnight. That's 10 o'clock. There's midnight. Look at how active it is. Central Texas, up into eastern Oklahoma, into Arkansas. These are going to possibly be storms that produce really heavy rain, of course, but on top of that, damaging gusty winds, possibly a few tornadoes, and some big hail is going to be possible, especially at this point. Now, as we go into Tuesday morning, you're still going to see all of that action. It's kind of just a big cluster of thunderstorms moving through eastern Oklahoma, up into southern Missouri, into West Tennessee, and of course into Arkansas. So at that point, I think it's mainly going to be a linear wind threat. You can see that kind of like almost bowing there, right there. I might want to change the color on my little drawy thingy. Let's turn this over to blue. That might work a little bit better. But yeah, so, at that point, probably some really gusty straight line winds are going to be an issue. Any type of severe weather is still going to be possible at this point. And we're going to see our fair share, of course, of some heavy rain. And as we head into Tuesday, that flooding threat is going to be going up for some folks. So I took the clock back a little bit. This is 8 o'clock when you start to see those storms breaking out in Texas into Oklahoma. And you get a pretty rockin' 850 millibar wind. And a lot of you are probably going, well, what is that? Well, that's wind a little higher up above your head, and this is going to give you that energy you need. This is what we call the lower level jet. Not only is it going to be bringing in moisture, warm air, and stability, but it's also going to help provide possibly some spin as you head into, when these storms are forming. So those are favorable conditions for tornadoes, and you can see that 850 millibar jet keeps really rocking into Tuesday as well. So that's what we're looking at, and this is a multi-day severe weather threat. Now, I do want to emphasize, if you are in the areas impacted in that slight risk area, make sure you have a way to get warnings, because this is happening late at night into the early morning hours. Whether it's a cell phone, a NOAA weather radio, it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure you stay safe. Here's part 2 of that severe weather threat as we go into Tuesday. This is around noon. You can see that rain really breaking out there in Tennessee, and you can see it's going to be along a cold front, and you're going to see the threat of severe weather stretching from West Tennessee, parts of Middle Tennessee, all the way down into portions of Mississippi. Now, the Storm Prediction Center has a risk out for that area. What we're also going to see is a really big threat for some very heavy rain. So notice that line sets up, and we're just going to be pouring down across areas in Middle Tennessee, even into Kentucky. So there's also going to be a flooding risk throughout much of that area as well. And the Weather Prediction Center also has a slight risk for excessive rainfall in this area. And what that means is that with a 15% chance of flash flood conditions within 25 miles of any point. Basically, if you live in a flood-prone area, make sure you're paying attention on Tuesday. So as this line moves through Tuesday afternoon and evening, you're also going to have the threat for some severe storms as well, especially toward, portions of Mississippi into middle Tennessee. Basically, you could see some gusty, damaging winds, maybe some hail, even an isolated tornado. We're really going to be narrowing down that part of the forecast in the next couple of days. I say flooding is probably going to be the main threat for a lot of you folks. Either way, you need to stay weather aware and have ways to get warnings just so you stay as safe as possible. So now we're going to talk about that wintry weather to the north. Now we're dealing with quite a bit of it. We're going to see heavy snow. We're going to see blowing snow. We got some blizzard warnings there from the Dakotas into Minnesota. And also beyond that, quite a few winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings. So there's quite a bit to talk about. Let's go ahead and get right into it. This is the Euro model starting at 6 a.m. And you can see while we're dealing with some severe weather, down south, you're seeing a lot of heavy snow breaking out from the Dakotas into Minnesota, into Wisconsin, and also seeing quite a bit of ice as well, stretching from Wisconsin into Michigan. So, Milwaukee, even portions of Grand Rapids, you could be looking at a pretty serious ice storm. Now, in the Dakotas over into Minnesota, it's going to be blizzard conditions, blowing snow. You've got that ice, you got that low pressure heading out to the north and east, and then is Canada's problem at that point as we head into the middle part of the week. That's Wednesday morning. So over the next couple of days, you're really seeing a lot going on in terms of snowfall. So let's get a look at how much we could be seeing. Okay, guys, through midweek, this is what our totals are looking like. And, well, for some folks, it's going to be quite a bit of snow there. Central Minnesota picking up a foot, maybe a little more in some of those spots. Same story there, right on the edge of South and North Dakota, kind of in the intersection of those. And, west into Montana, also into northern Wisconsin, picking up a good solid 8 to 10 inches possibly. Now, southern Wisconsin into Michigan, you're going to be looking at that potential for some pretty good ice. Let's take a look at those freezing rain totals. Could be a glazing to a quarter of an inch. Stretching anywhere from Milwaukee up into maybe a little north of Grand Rapids. So we're going to be keeping an eye on that there, but it is going to be a mess up north as well. So you need to be weather aware if you're in those locations. So I've got to cover through about midweek. After that, there's still more action on the way, but I am going to leave that for a different video. I hope you stay safe and stay well, my friends.